Hey guys, good day. My name is Clark Alesna and I'm a software developer from the Philippines. I've been a Cardano community member since 2017 and today I'd like to introduce something called the identity token. What it is, why does it exist, and how could this benefit you as an individual or a developer? So, what is the identity token? Well, the identity token is pretty much a Cardano native asset. That is to say, it's no different than your NFTs or your currency tokens that live inside your Cardano wallet right now. But this token can represent your identity, your ID. It can contain metadata that you choose to share publicly, whatever that is. It can replace the username password authentication model. And that is, for example, if you want to log into Twitter, they would ask your username and password to prove that you own a certain account. And finally, it can also be integrated into existing authentication protocols. So it's not like a completely new protocol. It can be a complementary protocol that developers can use. So why identity token? What are the benefits of using the identity token? Well, we all know that because of the cryptocurrency revolution, we have changed the way on how we protect our money. Instead of having banks, we have this concept of having a software wallet or a hardware wallet, having seed phrases, and pretty much that the only way to spend that money is pretty much having the seed phrase, owning the seed phrase. And so the identity token is this idea of what if we do the same thing for our identity, right? What if we remove the need for managing usernames and passwords for every site? So imagine going to a website, Twitter, and instead of asking for your username and password to log in your account, imagine just having to click a button and pretty much it contacts your wallet and says that, hey, would you like to provide your identity? You approve the request and pretty much it knows that, okay, this is Clark. You're now logged in. And again, this comes with the convenience of you protect your identity with the same level of protection that you use for your money, but then you don't have to remember or manage usernames or passwords anymore. You pretty much bring your own identity everywhere, and you pretty much can reuse this for any site. And more importantly, that the identity token is not a custom solution that you have to pay or you have to there's a license to use it. It's pretty much an idea, an open source software or code that anyone can use. So, what are the examples of the utilities and usage of the identity token? Well, we're pretty much just scratching the surface of what's possible here, but I've listed 3 items here to give us an idea on what we can do with this. What can we do with the identity token? So the first idea is identity profiles, where one one could showcase or build their profile and pretty much show off the assets that they own in the Cardano network, pretty much. They can say, okay, this is my username, this is my avatar, these are all my social media links, and you can really prove that I said this. I can vouch that this is really mine, and then I can then share to you um, the assets that I own. It's like a bragging profile if you like remember Friendster or MySpace, pretty much, right? Like your personal page inside the blockchain, pretty much. And that pretty much ties into the second idea here, where we can prove ownership of NFTs and track the transfer of ownership of these NFTs. And then finally, um, there's this idea of where we will be able to use the identity tokens to send messages to other users, and then the users that receive your message will then be able to prove that, okay, this really came from you, from Clark, or from, yeah, from, you can really verify that it came from where it says it came from, pretty much. And so what I'd like to do next is pretty much showcase a project here. And the project is called Hype Skulls. And I won't dive into specifics of this project, but what I can say is that this project is a Cardano NFT project where it's the first to utilize the identity token. So the first thing to note here is that we can see that there's this owner attribute that says, hey, this the owner of this NFT is Probo, and this is pretty much Probo. He's showing his picture here. Um, then we can see here that in the within the blockchain, this NFT was transferred from an unknown wallet to another unknown wallet, and then there's another one that is the same. And then at some point, we can tell that, okay, this last unknown wallet was really Ninja Dave Jams, and we can pretty much guess that at some point, Ninja Dave Jams integrated the identity token inside his wallet. But then, at some point, he decided to maybe give or sell this Hypeskull 0132 NFT to Probo here. And this is why we see the history that the ownership was transferred from Ninja Dave Jams to Probo. And that's why the current owner is Probo. So I think this is really cool. And again, this is an open source project. It's an open idea where any project could easily integrate the same thing and even build on top of it. And so one would ask then, how would you then create your identity token? Well, I'm working with a developer from the AWH team, which is a great stake pool from the Philippines that I helped made or start in the past. And so we provide here a page. I'll put a link in the description below. It's basically at identity.adph.io. And so this page basically allows you to create your own identity token. Although I must warn you that you must have a basic understanding of IPFS, Interplanetary File System, to be able to um, upload or create your avatar. And I'm not gonna cover the topic in this video, so you'll have to find some resource on how to learn that. Although we do guide you here that you can create an account within Piñata Cloud here. So basically, just create an account, log in, upload your photo, and you should be given IPFS hash, and you can paste it here. So for now, let's pretend that I'm gonna create a new identity token. So let's call it username, or user number one. And let's pretend that I have a great IPFS hash here for my nice avatar. And as you guys can see here, there are optional fields here where you would like to share your social media links. And this is pretty much just an example, and we don't really dictate who you want to do with your identity tokens, and we pretty much just give you an idea on what's possible here. So you could even say like um, birthday, and then what's the value, right? But why would you share your birthday? I guess that's a personal thing to decide. So another thing to note here is that um, right now, the only wallet that supports this capability where we don't need centralized servers to be able to build transactions right from the browser is Nami wallet here. So you would need to install Nami wallet and install it as a browser extension here. This is how it would look like. And once it's installed, you should be able to use this page here. Otherwise, you won't be able to use it for now, but we do plan on implementing or having support with other wallets as soon as they are capable of the same thing as Nami is capable of. Or what you could do is then pretty much create a Nami wallet just for minting. Just make sure you don't lose the seed phrase for that wallet, and then you can then send the identity token into your main wallet, whether it be Adalite, Yoroi, or Daedalus. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and click Mint Identity here. It will build the transaction, and you'll be able to see that it's asking me that, hey, this website here wants to connect to the wallet. It's very important to note here that the website is not asking for money, or it's not trying to access your money. It's just asking that, hey, do you want to allow querying or interacting with the website and the wallet, pretty much. So I decide to, so you can pretty much cancel that as well. It's all secure. In this case, I decide to give it access, and then suddenly it says signing and submitting transaction. It again, it's asking me to approve, and in this case, it's saying that okay, it costs 0.29 ADA to mint this identity token, and in return you'll receive this token here, user ID user one, and this is the policy, and you'll get one of this identity. So like I said, it's pretty much just a Cardano native asset, right? Right now I'm not gonna click sign because I already have my own identity token. We can even see some extra information here, I guess, or not. Anyway, I'm going to cancel that for now, but in your case you might want to sign and submit the transaction. All right. A good way to test that your identity token has been successfully minted is to go to the demo page here, and pretty much, so people, some people were trying this out and all that stuff, and even trying to chat. And so this demonstration page here is pretty much showing that only people with identity token can access this chat room here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log out and show you guys how you would log in into websites using the identity token. So what I could do is, so just imagine like Twitter having a button like this, connect with Cardano. I would click it here, and then the same thing happens, that okay, it's asking for well, let me cancel that first, and let's review this. That hey, send 1 ADA, 1.2 ADA to log in, and 1 ADA will be returned, and only 0.2 ADA will be required as a processing fee. In the future, we were made aware that we can do this similar login mechanism without even spending some ADA. So in the future, we'll showcase how one could do that as well. So for now, we're gonna go ahead and attempt that again. Sign in, approve the request, put my wallet password, and confirm the transaction. And once I confirm the transaction, it says here transaction submitted to the blockchain and waiting for the confirmation. So again, all of this is happening in your browser. There's no server that suddenly gains access to your wallet and pretty much can steal. And that's why that's how we decided to use Nami, because it has all this capability. And right now, we're just pretty much waiting for the transaction to be submitted, and yeah, pretty much confirming that we're able to log in. And there we go. So what happened there is that using our identity token, because it detected it, it was able to know that, okay, your identity is Clark, and the only way you could use this chat is if you log in using your identity token. And for the first time ever, you don't need usernames or passwords or verification in your email, but at the same time, you maintain that security of the typical authentication, right? And so once you have an identity token, you can then use it with services that utilize it. Again, um, everything is open source. Everyone can read the source code and make sure everything's secure and there's no shenanigans going on behind the scenes. Security is very important to us, and we're very transparent on how we implemented this idea here. If you're a developer, the next topic would then interest you. Otherwise, for average users, I advise, I warn you that you might want to turn away because this will get pretty boring pretty fast. So below here, we outline that how easy could it be potentially to integrate it with your existing websites, especially um, in your authentication. A great candidate for this would be like something like CNFT.io, which is the first mover, the first Cardano NFT marketplace right now. And so right now they're using typical username and password to log in, but you know, it would be a great opportunity to just completely get rid of usernames and password and pretty much adopt logging in using um, the Cardano blockchain, right? But anyway, that's my opinion. So if you're a developer that's interested in integrating this idea, what would it take, right? So in here, we're assuming that you would have a backend server utilizing the identity token already. At some point, we might be able to provide a framework for a lot of languages and SDKs and all that stuff. But for now, this is really more like pseudocode and what it could look like in the future. We are really at in a very early stage of this idea. So first thing you would do is then request for login from the service, and that would be like similar to auth2 where you ask for the auth code and specify the scope of the authentication. Like, are you asking for the email, the avatar, the profile picture, email, the birthday, and whatever it is. So, are you asking for that? This would be something like that in auth2. Then the endpoint would uh, then give you a wallet address where you can then present it to the user, generate a QR code, and then ask the user to send some ADA there, return it back, and then just deduct the processing fee. But like I said, we'll be showing a capability where users won't even have or need to spend ADA. They will just sign a message, and we'd be able to verify that okay, this message is real, and we have proof that this came from that user, from that identity, and we're able to log him in the system. The next one would be then to call the service and say, okay, could you check if that wallet address is now verified or not? So that could be then when the user sends some ADA and verifies that okay, yeah, he does have identity token and all that stuff. We can then return the identity um, as a result of that request if the user is indeed authenticated or authorized. And then we could then save that identity in a local storage in your browser, in the browser, and it would look like something like this. So it would be look like a typical auth2 response with the key property representing the where is that? Yep, representing the authentication key, or that you would pass in the subsequent request in the header to basically tell the server, okay, this user is indeed authorized to access this. So if you're familiar with auth2 and have program authentication previously in your services, you would be very familiar with this whole process. But the only difference is that you're not storing identity in typical databases, but instead you're storing or you're utilizing identity in the blockchain. And finally, if you're a developer that would like to mint or create services that can also mint identity token. This is the format that we currently use right now. So if you're familiar with Cardano metadata, it requires first a label. So we decide that our label would be 7368, which is pretty much the ASCII uh, decimal value for the string ID, where I is 73 and D is 68. And we pretty much copy some formatting from the NFT standard 721 by Alessandro, and you have the policy ID as a key, and then the identity token here as the asset name, and then the fields here. Right now, the only required field is the avatar field, which has under it a protocol field or property and the source property. And we pretty much think that there will be other protocols, not just IPFS, that should be able to be used using the identity uh, in the identity token. So going back to the slides, there's pretty much the code here, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully, I explained it clearly enough, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have questions, please leave some comments down below, or I'll leave my Twitter link in the description, so you could contact me and ask me more questions if you're interested. Thank you.